Good morning. Let's take a look at some of the calls from yesterday and some new ideas for neutral playing. Getting a bit fed up with the likes of Ren bossing the in-play stats, bossing the momentum, concede a second goal. Now we can cover that with John H's excellent both teams to score no and a 1-2 scoreline. We can always cover it that way. But neutral, as in the case with Liverpool yesterday, I did put forward the Liverpool equaliser, so I hope you followed that and cashed out at the 2-2. But there's also a way where we can involve both teams and still profit, or at least keep our losses to a bare minimum. So let's take a look at some of the ideas. Just the basic trades to start with yesterday. A lay of Bari at 1.16 and lower, what I call drip laying. Just in case Cesena, who were the better side, Bari right down, bang smack in the bottom of Serie B, just in case they conceded a late goal, because they already led and were pegged back. But you see that small liability, that's the kind of thing we'd like to keep for that kind of a reward. Pretty good. Great call here. This is what I'm talking about, neutral. Neutral, neutral, neutral. Why? Because I was expecting 3 goals from Eintracht Frankfurt today. I was expecting a 3-3. So I went laying under 4.5 goals at 1.11. Very, very good value. I think this was out at about the 2-1 or 3-1. I did warn members that this tends to happen when you're looking over 4.5 goals and it stops at the 4-goal haul, 1-3 to the Hoff. You're not going to get that 5th goal. That's sod's law. So get out with a pretty decent return relative to a very, very small liability. The liability there, 63 quid stake, but it's about a £6 liability. So it's about a 6-to-1 return there, which I'm delighted with, considering we didn't get over 4.5 goals. That's the beauty of trading. And despite one of the members, Paul Dunwoody, mentioning that Tottenham have upcoming European football, and indeed we're playing midweek, I still thought that Burnley, when they win at home, scoring 2 goals, it's a 2-0. So it was a 2-1 this one, and we got a late Tottenham equaliser. That was a decent return, again, relative to the amount risk. Laying Burnley at 1.39, back in the spuds at 24. I always recommend to members of FootballTradingProfits.com to back the side 2 goals down or a goal down, as well as laying the side a goal up. Doncaster and Wigan. Well, this was a 3-3, and I would recommend in some 3-3s, particularly goal heavy in the second half, lay that draw. Ain't going to cost you much, going to get you a 10-to-1 return if they can conjure up that 7th goal. I got 1.09 matched. I got 1.06 was unmatched. So the match must have finished a little bit early. Now let me talk to you about some ideas I have. But firstly, let's get to the Fiorentina-Cagliari match and just see what was occurring during the match. Now this is the idea of being neutral. Okay, because, as I say, fed up with the likes of Ren dominating the match, absolutely bossing it, and then conceding a second goal. First thing to note, yesterday, would you be trusting Fiorentina? A side with so many defeats this season, it's unreal. They're on an unbeaten run at the moment, but they can't be trusted at these odds. So, if you still think that they could do it, but they might falter, go neutral. So let's have a look and see how the match progressed. So we've got that 0-1 for Cagliari. That, if you fancied Fiorentina, again, you'd have been kicked in the Cagliaris there with that 0-2. How else can we make this work? So with that 0-1 in mind, I was preempting a 2-1 scoreline for Fiorentina, but I couldn't trust them. And rightly so, we got that second goal for Cagliari. So what I did there was I laid over 2.5 goals. Okay. And I already made a profit because I'm going up and down. But let's focus on this. Laying over 2.5 goals, backing over 3.5 goals at 4.3. If we get a well-timed next goal, it's going to ignite both of these markets. And we did get that well-timed goal, 47th minute. So we're up and running. Now at 0-2, you're alive in the game. And you could have actually cashed out, which I did. So you're looking for that trigger to move the market. And you make a net profit, £13 loss here, £41 profit here. Very, very good stuff. I tried to do the same, Liverpool as well. I looked at correct score yesterday, Liverpool, preempting a win for Liverpool. But watching out for the potential for an upset from Bournemouth. And luck of the draw, I probably wouldn't be using £40 stakes ordinarily. Maybe drip backing to keep your liability a little bit lower, but still having a decent return. 2-3 and 3-2. So that worked out rather well. Again, laying over 2.5 goals. Backing. Oh, this is 5.5 goals. Preempting that 3-2 result. Preempting it. So got in at over 5.5 goals, 4.9. Laying under 5.5 goals, 1.12. I will show you this better in a live stream, I think, because it's difficult to explain. It's just moving up the goals ladder, trying to preempt what you'd think would be the correct scoreline, a Liverpool 3-2 win, but covering it neutrally. Here's a case in point in the Dortmund match, in case Union Berlin scored the next goal unexpectedly. So laying over 1.5 goals to cover that 0-1 for Dortmund, and then backing over 2.5 goals. Not the greatest profit on the planet, but I'm just in experiment mode at the moment. Now this was preempting a PSV win. So again, laying over 4.5 goals to cover the current scoreline and backing over 5.5 goals. The goal came in the 88th minute, so you're making a net loss there of 26 minus 40. That's £14. So it's an initial look in to playing up and down the overs markets, and it's all about the goal times. But I think we might be onto something here. So I'll keep you informed about that, and I'll do more practicing today and show you in tomorrow's video. It's all in matches, post-Champions League especially, where you could get the upset. Let's have a look through some of the other calls yesterday. Croatia was very good to us yesterday. We played during the live stream. I mentioned Vukovar. Rijeka even down to 10, getting that 2-2. West Ham, well worth laying yesterday. I laid them, I think, at 2-0, and they made it 3-0. But then Sunderland got the goal, and I thought they would start to collapse. We got that late Tottenham equaliser, good stuff. Fulham and Brighton wouldn't play, 2.55 the favourite. Man City, layable, 2-0 up for sure. But Wolves, the golfing class, was too big. And that Bournemouth Liverpool, as you've seen, playing neutral, really paid off, didn't it? Bankers yesterday, Middlesbrough. Wow, that's all I can say there. The other banker, Bristol City, did exactly what Birmingham did last week. That was second half goals. Really good stuff. Leicester and Oxford. Why didn't I take on Leicester City? Take on Oxford leading. Why? Because Oxford are pretty good defensively. They can shut a team out, and they showed that yesterday. Cardiff did equalise against Stockport. For those of you following the odds on favourites in League One, and Bolton coming from a draw to get the win at 1.53. Wickham and Peterborough, thankfully, I got a cup of tea to thank for that. I was getting sorely tempted to take on Peterborough here. I went off for a cup of tea. By the time I came back, it was 0-2. And again, this is a good example of the neutral play. So you lay over 1.5 goals, back over 2.5 goals. And if you get a well-timed goal, it will impact the 2.5 goal market more than the loss you'll make on the 1.5. So that's 68th minute. That's perfect for this strategy. Anything below the 70th minute. Why did we make a loss in PSV? Because the goal came in the 88th minute or the 80th minute. So it didn't impact the market as heavily as an early goal in the second half. So I hope that makes sense to you. Moving up and down the goals markets by laying the current scoreline to cover it, laying over 1.5 goals at 1-0, backing over 2.5 goals in the hope that your favourite goes on and wins 2-1, that kind of a thing. I'll show you more of these examples if I can get them today. Lots of odds on favourites in English League 2 yesterday. This is a real rarity. Don't think there was much to interest me there yesterday. This was what I'm talking about. Absolutely bossed the match throughout, Rennes, but then they get caught with their pants down. Didn't play Le Havre Monaco, and Marseille back to their very best. Few red cards in French Ligue 2 as the pressure starts to tell. Riemann and Saint-Etienne was a must-win for both of those two sides. Red Star coming from behind to get the 2-2. And in the Bundesliga, well, a rare win for Bayer Leverkusen. This we played very, very late on. This is the first time ever this season Bayern Munich failed to score 2 goals in a match. Definitely take on Augsburg. You saw me doing that in the live stream. Very short odds, about a 4 or 5 quid liability, or even less for a decent return if Bayern Munich got their usual 2 goals. This was what I'm talking about. The neutral play, laying under 4.5 goals. And I wouldn't have seen that coming. I was expecting a 3-2, 2-3 kind of scenario. Leipzig were absolutely superb yesterday. I couldn't see that. But Mainz, in-play stats. If you play the in-play stats rather than the seasonal form, you'll solidly be with that Mainz win. They thoroughly deserved that yesterday. Absolutely superb performance from them. And another one of my bankers, Como. So what I'm advising you to do with the bankers, if you fancy it, is to put them into an accumulator, because the odds are so short, you can get a decent return. Middlesbrough, Bristol City, Como. Put them in an accumulator. Excellent stuff. I'll be keeping them for members only from now on, because they've been doing a really good job of late. Lazio under 2.5 goal merchants, so you're not really going to take that 0-0 on, are you? In the Eredivisie, not the Eredivisie, well, Twente, the only upset from the odds on favourites. PSV, this is what I'm talking about. Because Nat Breda made it 1-2, laying over 3.5 goals and backing over 4.5 goals. Even with that late goal, you could see it reduced the loss to about £14 from a £40 liability. So this idea has legs. I'm hoping to refine it. The more matches I can try it in, the more I can refine it. So let's look at today's trading angles. The fact I've done so many AI reports for members today suggests it's a difficult coupon, or at least I want to give you some research for France and Holland, but I don't want to research it manually myself. So that's the best case, is to give you the actual reports. And some of them are very accurate. Anderlecht and Dender would be one possible play in the Jupiler League today, with Dender kind of having the feel of a newly promoted side against one of the big established sides with home advantage. Croatian HNL1 League was very, very good for odds on favourites yesterday. So watch out for that today. The 2 big boys are out, Hajduk Split and Dinamo Zagreb. The only thing lacking there is real solid liquidity. Brentford against Nottingham Forest. Well, Brentford's home form is absolutely electric. Let's take a look. Brentford are unbeaten in 7 at home and they're knocking on the door of Europe. So watch out. I think post-European Dyche, Forest, I don't think they're going to land a blow, to be honest. This Brentford have been scoring 2 or 3 goals at these kind of odds as well. And with 5 out of 6 defeats against the top 11 for Nottingham Forest, you've got to be with the bees today, who are buzzing around the European places. Crystal Palace and Chelsea is a London derby with a new manager, Rosinia, so I'm not going to be researching that. I have done the AI report for members, so you will have something to look at, okay? But I'm not going to be researching derbies. Newcastle and Aston Villa. Well, Aston Villa got that away goal against Fenerbahce midweek. They are good away goal heroes. Newcastle have got this 2-goal habit at home, which they're going to be relying on today because they're going to need 2 goals to get the win, you'd think. Arsenal and Man United, it's a derby-style match. It's a new manager, interim manager for Man United. Again, not researching this one, but I will provide the AI for you. Hopefully the AI will have picked up the interim manager. There we go, under interim manager Michael Carrick. So yes, I'm teaching AI to pick these elements up, doing a great job. Portsmouth and Southampton is a derby, so I'm not going to be playing that. You can go in, play stats if you wanted. Nantes and Nice, 2.45 the favourite. Brest and Toulouse, 2.7 the favourite. Lille at Strasbourg, 2.38 the favourite. Already 3 of those matches screaming out to be that the market can't pick a winner. So be very, very careful. In French Liga, I've done all AI reports for members today. I'm not researching French Liga. It's like the English Championship. Very, very competitive. I don't see any standout angles for me either today, despite having 2 odds-on favourites in Paris FC. Strangely enough, Paris FC odds-on. And Lyon. Mönchengladbach against Stuttgart. I've got to solidly be with Stuttgart here, but post-Europe, you've got to respect the market. 2.15 the favourite. 8 wins in 9, home and away against 9th and lower for Stuttgart. Why on earth are they only 2.15? There must be some reason. I don't know if it's a local derby or something. Freiburg against Köln. Well, Freiburg's odds look extremely enticing at just under evens. For a side with that home form, they managed to get the home form working midweek in Europe as well. That looks extremely good indeed. Got to be solidly with Freiburg here today. SerieA. Atalanta, all of their recent wins, all of their wins this season really have been packed in to a recent set of matches. So with that kind of a form, they're going to be really solid yardsticks today against Parma. That looks standout. Could even fall into banker territory, but Parma do like a 0-0. Sassuolo Cremonese, too tough to call. Genoa and Bologna, well, you can't trust Bologna. Where's that second goal going to come from? Yes, they got it against Celtic, but that was 10-man Celtic. Juve and Napoli is a derby-style match. I've done, again, AI reports for members. And I'm working solidly on the app, which will hopefully, if I can get it all working. I'm not a computer person at all. I'm not an app developer, so it's all new to me. If I can get it all working, you will have access, members, to those AI facilities there. So you can get matches which are tough to call. You can get at least somebody's opinion on it. Roma and Milan is another derby-style match I won't be touching. So it's quite a tough coupon. Again, at least that's what the market's telling us. Eredivisie today, AZ Alkmaar got a chance with Twente losing to just add some points to the tally. Groningen against Fortuna Sittard, odds on. Feyenoord, Heracles, odds on again today. Braga look strong favourites against Alverca. They tend to deliver. And the special ones, Benfica, unbeaten this season, I believe, in La Liga, Portugal, coming off the back of a Champions League match. So just be careful. They might be a little under par, but Sporting Lisbon were excellent yesterday, getting a late winner. And in Saudi Arabia, we got that win for Al Ittihad or something. Al Hilal, banker material. Have you seen that forward line? Absolutely mental. It's like these Arabs are just playing fantasy football with real footballers. Celtic and Hearts, you've got to be favouring Hearts here, surely. But this is a Martin O'Neill Celtic who could offer a little bit more. But Hearts have the chance to end the old firm run of the SPL. Rangers have just been wonderful this season. Another banker for me today. I shouldn't be telling you this. Bankers should be for members only. Barcelona against Real Oviedo, an obvious chance, given Real Oviedo can't even score. Atletico Madrid at home have just been wonderful, wonderful sight to behold. Keep your eye on them. Now, I might do an ad hoc go live, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel at FootballTradingProfits.com, where you're watching this video. I might see you for an ad hoc go live at 2 o'clock or thereabouts. Have a great day. and I might see you later. I'll certainly see members on Telegram.